Saturday Notes conclusion. Final part. There's this place now on Capitol Hill called an autonomous zone, similar to the Tibetan autonomous zone in China, where China adores behavior. Maybe as much as Mr. Vladimir Putin. Mr. Vladimir Putin. Where a sense of humor like I just had now could cause re-education, imprisonment, and carry a sentence of years in prison or possibly death, or potentially death. And I keep remembering the last parts to my ashram in the kitchen. There's these two signs that I have on my resource list for finishing my ashram in the kitchen, I think about in the area right over here. And one of them's man cave, this little plaque, and then the other one says, the other one is an anchor with some rope. I thought they would be real pretty. But another one of the items I was considering was no girls allowed. Because I thought it was kind of fun. It's like the Patch Adams, it's like, like healthy parts of being alive, Don't lose your child sense of loving the world. Don't lose that young at heart. And the benefits have to do with less negative emotion and worry, and more calm. And better time now. And gets into some of the difficult parts of neuroscience and neurons. There's neural, Neural science. There's some books from a Harvard professor about neurons. And not many else other than talking about proteins and bioresearch, one of the bigger departments within neuroscience, really getting down to the chemical level and looking in a microscope. Kind of like behavior and really understanding the self and managing the ego, mind, in the body. To behave better and to speak more fluently now. And the no girls allowed has to do with kind of like some of the philosophical parts of neuroscience without any real indication from the research that's been completed so far now. What inside of the neurons receiving this information I'm seeing now from this device called the iPhone in my hands going towards it now looks like inside of that neuron? The easiest reaction has to do with a TV or a video screen. The neuron being a hard drive, sending the information to the memory part of the brain, And the memory part of the brain being kind of like a TV being seen inside of the body in the brain. Remembering good and bad and fun and boring. Lethargy. Mostly recognizing, though, the most easy to identify recollections. Childhood, road trips, pretty girls from high school, dances, old work and jobs with coworkers, task requirements from previous employment, grades in school and tests and tense moments. And these neurons have been used for as long as I've been here now. And aren't easy to identify with what they have from far in the past and then what they have from yesterday, eating volcano barbecue sauce and nearly dying in the bathroom this morning. From pain. It's hot, very hot. There's Minions on my refrigerator. There's Patch Adams, and then there's a hippo, a giraffe, a lion, and a zebra, with the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and the wolf on my wall, and the United States Army flag up top. These neurons appear to intermix. For some people, such as myself, and for other people who don't want the childlike characteristics, they train and they practice and they remove what they describe in their process as distraction, being a baby. And a lot of times being a bitch and a pussy from the slang in the old days. And with this Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, they've built a similar no girls allowed structure, a system. No cops allowed. Now, they've built barriers, walls, and physical borders. And they, from what gets sent out to the world, and people like me who aren't brave enough to go and see what's going on for the risk and the danger involved now. They talk about vegan, they talk about poetry and art, and sound very similar to the no girls allowed from the tree houses of the old days and the forts built on driveways when I was little. and continues the process of explaining the repeating dilemma everyone does now. Making a new system to have a new set of rules and standards and restrictions. Replacing the old system with the processes described as racist, failing, and horrible, disgusting. With the same conditions of inhibiting freedom and allowing a person to say, do, think, and have thoughts about whatever comes to their mind, whatever appears in their brain. Within the limits set by the leaders here on Capitol Hill, who have rifles, who have gold on their hands, and a pizzazz and a vibrance in their appearance. There's not as much of a duality as there is simply a new philosophy and ideology in control of the world. A duality would involve peace and harmony, and no violence. People figuring out, well, how do the trucks and the cars and the people drive on the streets still needed for transportation and not cause harm to those who want to live there now. There's this continuing declaration that the United States of America has to do with freedom. And not as many people saying and speaking about the goal to be free, working towards the aspiration. And what's worrisome with this example here on Capitol Hill has to do with their decision about not needing goals or aspirations or dreams, but mandating their demands now.